What's up, guys? It's your boy KG coming back at you with another video. And if you're new to the channel, please make sure you guys like and subscribe. And I'm here with a couple guests today, and I'll let them go ahead and introduce themselves. Guys, go ahead. JC, start it off.
What's good, y'all? I'm JC, JC2K. I play competitively. I also am a YouTuber. Appreciate KG having me on. Looking forward to talking about the state of the game right now and just sharing our thoughts.
Yeah, exactly. Cobra?
Yeah, Cobra Phenom, over on YouTube and Twitch a little bit. But yeah, you know, comp player, content creator. Really looking forward to having a good conversation about the state of the game and ways to improve the game. So
yeah, and I think that's mainly what we're here for. And guys, if you guys want to go follow them, I will have their links in the description below. You guys can go check them out. Both awesome content creators. Guys, appreciate you guys coming on, like I said. So we're going to dive right into this. First things first, we're going to talk about the good of a lot of these topics. They have a set of topics that I have sent them. First things first, we're going to start talking about the content. What do you guys think about the content so far?
We're starting with just good.
Yeah, just good so far.
I mean, I think yesterday was a big step in the right direction, in all honesty. In terms of the balance of the content, the fact that they dropped a deep set with a lot of like solid budget cards. I mean, especially like budget PGs. Alex Caruso and Anthony Simons are both like legitimately good cards, and we haven't had a good budget point guard all year, at least that I can think of. Like, I mean, Jaden Ivey was okay-ish when he came out. Baron Davis sucked. Kyrie's terrible. Like, there aren't very many good.
There wasn't a single budget point guard.
Yeah. So
like,
I think they made a good stride in the right direction for that yesterday in terms of like giving people cards that they can use that aren't crazy expensive or take a super long time to grind for. So I think that I think that was a good step for sure yesterday. I'd say the content for grinders is awesome. I mean, if you play the game a lot, it's awesome because you have the ability to access opals and tons of pink diamonds, and you can build, I mean, a free lineup that like is legitimately a competitive level team right now, but you have to have the time to be able to do that and the willingness to grind the game. And a lot of people don't play the game like that. So for the people who do, it's great. You can build a competitive level team without spending any money.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, working full time and stuff, I don't even have the time to like, I don't have the time to get everything. I didn't get all the trophy centerpieces or whatever they are last season. I got 4 of them. I don't know how many you guys got. I'm sure JC got all of them, right? Cobra, did you end up getting all of them or no?
I did end up getting all of them.
You did get all of them?
I had to play like 125 TTO offline games in the last, you know, day and a half. So I wanted to uninstall after that last day, but you know, yeah, we did get them.
I mean, it's an obnoxious amount of time with that, but like at the end of the day, if you got the time to do it, I mean, it's good for those guys. Cobra, you got anything to add to that? I mean,
yeah, I mean, the content, you know, I think, you know, yesterday was a W, right? We got a bunch of agendas, a bunch of grindable things that actually don't even take that long, which I think is a big thing. And one of the things I will say, you know, the takeover players, you know, it's grindable. Those are no money spent players, or I think built to be that way. But you also, you know, like the Friday grinds are killer, right?
It's just not,
you got some of the best players, you got some of the best diamonds in the game coming on Fridays, but like the average person, there's no way in hell you're grinding that shit.
No.
Like I like me, I play the game an absurd amount, and I work from home. So like during the days, you know, when I have like multiple monitors up, and you know, usually like in between emails or something, I'm grinding clutch time offline, or triple threat offline, just to get that Friday player. Just because, you know, we got Sean Kemp, we got a bunch of like really decent diamonds.
And even Rodman yesterday. Rodman's good. I did gameplay with him last night. I was shocked.
I was curious to see how he was.
I can't remember if like Iguodala and like Mitchell, I can't remember if those are Friday.
Iggy was Friday.
Iggy was Friday. Yeah, that's the only Friday I did.
And like the way like the MT is right now is like some of the pink diamonds are just crazy expensive, right? Like if you're an average person, like granted contracts aren't in the game, and so you have more MT per se, but you can't afford, there's no way in hell you can't afford those players, those pink diamonds, without opening packs and getting lucky, right?
And even then, the packs are good.
The takeover players should be a huge aspect of the game for no money spent. Like no money spent players should be filled with diamond players, and unfortunately I think they're grindable, but I think they're just a little too much.
Outside of like Andrew Wiggins, who was a really reasonable grind and a really good card, like he's still on my team currently, like there haven't been that many takeover players that were a reasonable grind, because the best takeover players, Kemp, Iggy, Anthony Edwards, this Rodman that came out that's also really, really good, all those guys are Friday players. Donovan Mitchell was like a 5 or 6 hour grind. Like they're not super easy to, they're not particularly accessible except for Wiggins. Wiggins took like an hour and a half, and he's very, very reasonable to get and very easy to get. I think they did do it. They have done a really good job with XP this year. I mean, XP's not hard to get. Yep. Devin Booker's a good card. I mean, he's an incredible shooter. Everything else is kind of but he's a really, really good shooter. And then Pippen's a great, great card. One of the best cards in the game still.
They made it super easy. I mean,
I feel like they increased XP in general.
Like 100%.
Like,
did you guys see the pink diamonds?
This season came out a week ago.
I have 62,000 XP, and I've barely intended to do XP.
Yeah,
like, I love here and there, but I haven't like tried to do XP, and I'm almost halfway to Booker.
But I love the fact that they gave 55,000 XP just playing modes, right?
They've never done that before, and I think that's
huge.
Awesome. Yes.
They've done maybe like a little bit here and there, but not 55,000 XP off the bat.
Yeah,
I mean, they give you a third of the grind just for playing the game and playing the different modes throughout the season.
Right. That's huge.
And then the other thing I will say, I think I know that the pink diamonds that they drop in packs, like they're very expensive and they're only accessible to a certain category of players to the game. For example, your John Wall, Ron Artest, LeBron, Hakeem that we got this game. Those are 4 of the best cards in the game. You could argue all 4 of those guys are the best player at their position. That being said, I think that's good. I don't really have an issue with it if they are dropping the comparable budget cards and events like they did this weekend that are allowing people to make MT and improve their team. They do those types of things. I think having the top end cards that you can also buy is a good thing. I mean, because you're not going to have very many people who have Opal Jimmy Butler and Opal Anthony Davis, and especially the Dark Matters here in a season or two. Like, people aren't going to have not very many people are going to have those cards because most people just don't have the time to grind for 15 centerpieces,
or just don't want to.
Yeah, and I think having top end cards, if there are budget options as well, I got no problems with that. I mean, it's fun to play with those types of guys. Like John Wall's really fun to use. Run our test, same thing. Having him back in 2K is cool. Like. And we have a viable center now with Hakeem, who's actually a really, really good card. Like I don't mind the top end cards. I think they're good, honestly, to have in the game as long as you have budget alternatives as well.
I think that's a good point because, like this 2K compared to other 2Ks, in my opinion, I've seen way more lineup variations. Given that some cards are expensive, some cards are grindable. So like in the years past, like point guard Luka, everybody had point guard Luka, everybody. Right?
Yeah.
Now it's like, now people have Cade, people have Curry, people have Donovan Mitchell. I mean, like, they have different. I rarely go against, like, oh, here's another meta lineup, right? There's many.
There's 8 to 10 viable point guards you can use in the game right now.
Yeah, there's some
close
pretty
to
good
that
ones.
many at other positions. But like, especially like small forward, power forward, you're gonna see a lot of Scottie Pippen because everybody has that card because of XP, but you're gonna see a lot of other variation in those positions as well. I mean, especially with the trophy case players, you got Peja and Gordon Hayward and Brandon Ingram and
you got the guys
Richard
you can
Hamilton,
buy,
all these different guys. Yes,
Tatum.
There's a lot of versatility to the game and the amount of cards that are in the game that are usable. I mean, you have your top end guys for sure, but I think there's a lot of variation in the cards that are usable. I think they've done a really good job for the most part with content this year. And I think yesterday was a really big step, like I said, for the no money spent players, the budget players who don't have a ton of time, dropping guys like Caruso and even a Diamond Ron Artest.
Franz last, was it Tuesday?
Franz was good, yeah. I mean, like I said, Anthony Simons is good.
Yep.
We need budget bigs because Chet's kind of the only one, and he's not that great. But, I mean, they drop a couple decent budget bigs in the next week or two, and you're looking at legitimately good budget cards at multiple positions, especially the important ones like point guard and center. And I think you're going to have a pretty good balance with the content in the game, I would say.
Exactly, and I agree.
And with the new promo, with the even like the lower tiered cards, they have XP challenges that you don't need, like the pink diamonds. You're not gatekeep. The only one that's gatekeep is the only gatekeeped one is John Wall, because that's his pink diamond's the only variation of him. But literally all the other challenges, which is like 30k XP,
and it's like
literally
5k
Amethyst
XP a piece, and
you can get you can get 30k XP buying Amethyst players. I mean,
which is crazy. Like, the way they did that was definitely a huge upgrade from the way they did it before. You know, I've never prided myself on grinding XP or anything, but you know, like JC said, I'm at like I think 45k or 50k not even really looking at it at all. So like, you know, at the end of the day, it's like, you know, they're making it a lot easier as far as that goes. We kind of talked about the good, the bad, you know, in that little discussion there. Can it be improved, do you guys think? Like, content. I mean, it can always be improved, but how?
Yes.
How can it
Consistency.
be improved?
You
We
want
need
to
to see what we. You want to go for it?
It doesn't matter to me.
All right, I got something to say.
There you go.
Consistency. That's the biggest key with this whole discussion. I feel like is consistency, because what they did yesterday was great. We got an event with a lot of things that are reasonable to grind and are going to reward players with Hall of Fame badges, tokens, packs, XP, all these things. They made XP much more accessible yesterday to people, like Cobra was just saying, with being able to do all these things with Amethyst players that cost 3,000-4,000 MT. And they dropped, like I was talking about, really good budget players. But that's the first drop of the year that I would truly say had that type of depth to it and also had the content part, the content aspect. I feel like we need to see more of that consistently. And they could also do more consistent. Maybe this is my YouTuber bias coming in, but I think they could have content more than just 2 days a week consistently.
Nope, I was going to say that.
It's a little frustrating knowing that if we're going to get a trophy event, it's going to be on a Friday alongside all the other packs that we get, and then we're going to get packs on Tuesday. But we don't, they're dropping 2 takeover players a week. Why would they not drop those on Wednesday and Saturday, for example? And then why are we not getting a event like this on a Wednesday or a Monday? I feel like they can spread things out and not just do it on Tuesday and Friday. I think that's one of the things that really benefited the game in season 6 and 7 of last year, was we were getting content 5 days a week. And that was really good for content creators like me making YouTube videos, but it's also good for people because they're waking up every day and there are new cards in the game, new things to do, grindable things. I think that is really good for the health of the game. So I'd like to see them continue what they started yesterday and also spread out the content a little bit more.
Yeah.
You guys hear me still? Awesome.
Yeah, you're good.
All right. So like another thing to add to that is like, you guys remember how we used to have like moments? I know they kind of started it with Brunson a little bit, but I would also like to see like, you know, those daily rewards rather than be like trophy pieces, which I know that's the main topic of everything, but I would like to see those be players. Like one of the players, you get a reward of like an amethyst of that player. I think that would be super dope. You know, on like a Wednesday, Thursday, something like that. I think that would just be super dope. Just to get one of those guys, whether it be good or not, you know, it's just something that adds to the game, I think.
Y'all remember moments of the week in 2K20, I think it was?
Mm-hmm.
That set was, I thought that was a really good thing, because you were getting a moment set with 10 players, 13 players every single week. It had a lock and reward. You could add a free aspect to that now and make some of those players grindable and drop a set of 10 players who had really good performances throughout the week, every single week, and they could drop that on a Monday or a Wednesday.
Exactly.
Add more content and add a grindable aspect to it, and it wouldn't really be that, like, we're not expecting, maybe 1 or 2 of those cards is actually a competitive level card, but it gives more depth to the game. You can add budget cards in there. You're getting players with all these different, cards with all these different players who may not get cards in general promos and stuff. Like if Gary Harris has a really good game, we could get an amethyst or a diamond Gary Harris. Gary Harris is not going to get a diamond or a pink diamond card to promo at this point in the year.
Yeah, exactly.
But like, I mean, everybody from everybody's favorite team. Like, I mean, Cobra's a Suns fan. Cam Johnson has a really good game. We get a diamond Cam Johnson. You know what I mean? Like things like that would be good for the game.
Damian Lee.
Damian Lee Buzzerbeer, baby.
Don't remind me about Damian Lee. Oh man, he drove a stake in my heart. That was unfortunate.
For I mean, content, like I feel like it's just too predictable, right? Like we've had content now on Tuesdays and Fridays, like every 2K. Like we haven't even switched the days. Like they could have switched the days around. I mean, they could have moments Mondays where they drop the moments from last week. Mm-hmm. They could have the takeover cards like JC said drop on Wednesday and Wednesday and like maybe Saturday. The thing is like most people who play this game are like people in school, right? Like that's the target audience.
Yeah.
And through like even Friday, right? Like when content drops, most people have school on Fridays. Like why is there no content that drops Saturday morning when most people are getting on the game?
And
that
they know
would
they
be
can
cool
do it
if there
because
would
they've
be.
done it before.
like that. So I don't know. Like you could literally, I'm not saying every day of the week because obviously everybody needs a break and like it's probably hard, not realistic. Like no sports game drops content every day. But you could definitely split it up to like 4 out of the 7 days.
I know
they could 100% do 4 out of 7 for sure,
Yeah.
and they wouldn't even have to drop that much extra content. Like you said,
No.
a moment's drop and spreading the takeover players out, maybe dropping a trophy agenda.
And it doesn't even got to be a good player. Like, I mean, I know people will complain about that, but like the Moments players, they're like that Jalen Brunson card. He's not good.
If
but
they,
like,
he's kind of fun to use. I'll be honest.
Yeah,
I
he's
used that card
fun.
for, like,
That's what
an
I'm
hour
saying.
and a half.
He's
He was
fun to
actually
use.
pretty good. But
that's the whole point.
He's also a very reasonable grind. The block was annoying, but like everything else took like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Like if they drop grinds like that consistently, say somebody has 25, 15, and 6, and they drop a Amethyst or a Diamond version of that player, like that's going to take 15 to 20 minutes, and you're getting a decent card who, and especially for guys like if you're a Knicks fan and you like Jalen Brunson, you just got a Jalen Brunson card who's not a bad card in the game. He's a somewhat usable budget card. He's fun to use, and he's not hard to get. Like things like that are positives for the game. They don't hurt anybody, even if you personally are not interested in the card.
Another idea they could do, just kind of more so as, I wouldn't say longer grinds, but seasonal grinds, I guess would be a better word. So you know how the NBA awards like Player of the Months, that kind of thing? They could have like a program or a set in their grindable thing for like lifetime, kind of like they did with the Cade. Not really evoing necessarily, but like take each player from like each week, the Player of the Weeks, and throw them into a set, and you can grind them out, and they make challenges for them, and basically once you obtain them all, you earn the Player of the Month, and it's a Player of the Month card every month, and that could be a promo. I mean, MLB The Show does something very similar to that, and that's been one of the biggest content things that they pride themselves on, is that Player of the Month, and usually it's the best card in the game. So it gives people the incentive, and it's not that time consuming. It takes 2 to 3 hours, give or take, which I know 2K won't do. But a lot of it takes 2 or 3 hours, and I think that would be super cool to see added into the game. Just something with Player of the Month that relates to the NBA as well today. Just something like that, I think it would be super dope. It's never been introduced before to 2K, but I think it'd be super dope.
Yeah. I think that would be cool. I will say, like, before I forget, because I wanted to bring this up, I do wish there were grindable cards in Unlimited and Limited again that were, like, Pink Diamond level cards. Like,
agreed.
I don't understand.
Especially Unlimited.
I don't know why Limited is gatekeeped to the takeover cards, because me, for instance, who I get all the takeover cards anyway for content, Limited is kind of boring as hell. Yeah, quite frankly.
Limited. I like the fact that you get the reward for every ring this year, though.
Yeah, that part is nice.
Like after I get the 5th ring or whatever, the ring before then it's like, well,
I would say you are definitely an anomaly in grinding all 11 takeover cards.
Right.
There aren't very many people who do that.
But
I don't do that.
Even if people don't want one of those takeover players, there at least should be maybe a Hoff badge.
I agree.
Yeah,
there should be at least a random Hoff badge or something.
I thought that's what the 11th option was going to be, was a Hoff badge at first.
I don't disagree what he said about the grindable cards in modes. I think that's...
No, I know. I will say Unlimited, I know boosting is like ridiculous. So like,
it doesn't seem like that's ever going to change.
Everybody would have that card instantly because it's...
It doesn't seem like that's ever going to change, though, to be fair.
Like,
I think a lot of it has to do with, this is my theory on this, you know, there's obviously people out there boosting to get the rewards and stuff like that, but I think a lot of it is like the MT sites. They get their bot accounts on there, they get all the MT, the tokens, the cards, the packs, all that stuff, which turns into MT, and they're just farming it over and over and over again. That's my thought on that. Like,
no, it is. That's what it is. I mean,
it's exactly what it, you know. And that's another thing in this game. There's so much MT in this game now. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. No, I mean, and that's why you know, the prices of the Pink Diamonds and stuff are so high, because there's so many bot accounts on the leaderboards and stuff getting MT. So.
Yeah, I mean,
I think to be fair, a lot of the people who boost in Unlimited for the cards or pay people to get them, they're wanting those things because they don't want to play the game themselves. At least they don't want to play Unlimited themselves because Unlimited's the sweatiest mode. I think more people are playing Unlimited than they ever really have this year, which is probably, that's another aspect to content, I guess. Player lock in Unlimited is the worst thing they've ever added. But outside of that,
oh Lord,
I don't mind people getting unlimited points for losses and stuff. It entices people to play the game, and like you don't have to go 12-0. They changed it to 12-4 last year, but even 12-4 was hard for a lot of people. So like, if you want to get the top reward, now you can get the top reward no matter how bad you are at the game if you want to play the game. Now, like I said, player lock and unlimited, please take it out. It is so
I think we can all
miserable to
agree
go
with
against
that.
player
Just...
locker. But
JC, do you feel, and KG, you could probably relate to this too, do you guys feel that there's SPMM in Unlimited? Because
there is.
You do?
100%.
There, I feel like there has to be.
Really? Because I just feel like
a lot of names that
play better than the last couple of years. Maybe I'm just dog shit, so I play dog shit players. But I'm like the last couple of years going 12-4. It for me was like difficult because I was matching up against like comp players, right? So this year I am a fan of like the point system. But yeah, player lock.
I don't think it's like Cole's in chat talking about it too. I don't think it's as bad as it used to be, but it's still there. Like last night, I matched up with Kool-Aid literally twice in a row. The second game I just dashed because I wasn't dealing with it, and then NATO right after that. So like, I got like 3 games back to back where I was just chilling, and you know, there are some known players. I mean.
I would say 25% of the games that I load into, I know who I'm playing against.
Yeah,
I'd say that.
Maybe
I'd say about 25%.
Maybe I haven't played enough games.
I mean, for example, I bought John Wall last night in our test. I bought them, and I wanted to play one unlimited game. Before I went to bed, I load into a game. I match up against a dude named Real Killer who qualified on Next Gen last year for Xbox. Like, and I mean, that happens a lot. You want to play one game, you match up against a competitive player. It's like, well, okay, I'm going to sweat this dude. So that's what I wound up doing. But, point being, like, I think skill-based matchmaking. It's not a horrible feature though. I don't hate skill-based matchmaking. It's the gameplay is the frustrating part. I don't feel like the matchmaking is an issue.
Yeah,
I feel like
crazy,
especially since winning and losing matters less than it ever has in Unlimited. So
yeah, I mean, I feel like if they're gonna do skill-based things, they need to have a ranked mode, like not just unlimited, like a ranked mode, like a strict ranked, where like if you win,
they introduced
you earn
leaderboards,
points.
but they suck. So
yeah, but like, you know what I mean? Like I go to MLB The Show just because I've been there before. They have a ranked season, and everybody has like a rank. If you win, you move up. If you lose, you go down, and you try to increase your rank. And it matches you up within a certain tier of like ranks. So like it takes this rank to this rank, and you match from that group, and that's who you play. We need something like that. Weekend League, you know, anything like 100%.
that.
Weekend League would be really big.
We need a non-boostable Weekend League. Like Madden does it phenomenally, where you can't boost. You can boost one game, but what Madden does is if you face someone, like let's say you match up against, like you're boosting. Let's just say you match up against the boost account, whatever. You'll get your win. You can't match up with someone for 4 hours.
I did not know that, and
I didn't even know that either. I didn't know that was a thing.
That fixes boosting. You're done.
It does. Yeah, it's gonna, or people are just gonna. I mean, if you want to go to the true extreme effort of making 15 different accounts to try to match yourself and give yourself free wins, at that point you just got it. Whatever.
Yeah,
But I mean, Weekend League is a great because Weekend League has a strength of schedule aspect to it.
Schedule,
the ranking,
reward, and top 100 rewards.
Although they don't have those anymore this year, which kind of
that's really stupid. Madden's not good.
That was really dumb by Madden. Okay, I'll be honest. 2K has some issues. I don't like the gameplay, and we'll get to the gameplay.
Broken this
Madden is legitimately just a broken game. Nothing works. I'm glad I'm not playing. I played Madden for like a month before 2K.
Yeah, that's how I was too.
And I had fun, but that game is broken.
Yeah.
Like the gameplay, honestly, is probably a little better than 2K's this year. But the actual game, all the content, nothing ever works. You have to delay every content drop.
They literally have a promo drop, and something's wrong with it every single time.
They literally have
something major generally.
They have to do something called make rights every single promo because they screw it up, and they have to make it right. They literally have it called make right, and they tweet it out every time. It's so annoying. Like
2K is ahead of the ball on that. Like
content,
and I will say, and I don't know if you guys experienced this, but like, I remember in the last couple 2Ks, even when content dropped like on a Friday or something crazy, we'd have like server issues, right?
Yes.
I haven't
Oh my
had
gosh.
any server issues.
I haven't either.
Yeah, no, I haven't either.
Which is a huge problem. I think that goes. I think that goes undiscussed because we just assume like that's the way it should be. But the last couple 2Ks on every Friday, especially like a Halloween promo, something big, there was delays. Like sometimes you couldn't get in. New season drops, you couldn't get in for hours. Even when you got in, it was laggy. Packs didn't show up. Yada yada
Cards
yada.
weren't in packs occasionally for 20, 30 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, this year the only issue we've had with that this year is the error codes loading into games. But I'll be honest, that is happening a lot less recently.
That
50K
seems to
qualifiers, a lot less error codes. I did see there were a couple.
I got error coded, but then it let me continue playing. So it's a couple people got error coded and weren't able to continue playing. So,
but in the last years, especially the first 250 qualifier, I remember I think it was 2 years ago. The first 250 qualifier, damn near everybody error coded.
A lot of people error coded.
They've improved the servers and that whole situation significantly.
Do you guys think that might be because there's a less of a player base? Maybe.
Yes.
I mean,
I think that contributes.
But
I think they've also just done a better job with it.
Partially. Yeah. I think Call of Duty on Friday dropping didn't help because I do think a lot of people are going to be playing that.
That's true.
I agree.
Because that Vanguard, especially Vanguard, that wasn't very popular, and Warzone had already been out for a year, but now you got a new Warzone coming. And Call of Duty, and people like this Modern Warfare Call of Duty. So, I mean,
going back to the 250K topic, how do you guys think 250K was? I know we didn't have this plan to discuss, but what did you guys think of 250?
I mean, I was one game off qualifying, so I'm not too bothered by it, to be completely honest. I lost by 1 point in a game to AOT Trey, who's one of the better players in the console, and he blocked 2 dunks. He got a fluke at the end of the game. Like it was a really competitive game though. Like it is what it is. It's a very competitive game.
At least yours was a competitive game. Mine wasn't even that against Trey.
Yeah, like I lost by 1 point, and if I win that game, I probably qualify. So I didn't hate the format too much. I think it was interesting that I lost with 45 minutes left and finished like 15th.
See,
like
that's
that
about
was
what
odd.
I lost about that
everybody
point.
was losing. Because I think there was definitely skill-based matchmaking in qualifiers, which there's never been before.
100%.
Very odd. But looking back on it, I don't know if that's a terrible thing. I think that kind of is intended to match the competitive players up with each other so that the best of the competitive players on that day are going to qualify.
Yeah, and I mean...
You go ahead, KG.
I lost to AOT Trey too with like 40 minutes left, I think it was. 30 minutes, something like that. And I finished 12th, and like, same thing as you, JC. Like, I feel like the competitive end of it makes it tough to play as a viewer. That draws a lot more eyes to it, I think. I think that helps the viewership part of it, just for personal channels. Because I know when I played Beezus, I had a lot of people in there watching that game. So that was fun. I mean, it was a lot of fun for somebody watching. For playing, though, it wasn't fun, obviously. Anytime you match a competitive player on rookie, basically, it's not a fun time. That's what it felt like. That's another thing, too. Did it feel like pro? Like, easier than online versus during 250?
I honestly don't think so. That's my opinion. I heard people complaining about it when I was playing. I didn't personally think so. But it may have been. I'm not 100% sure. I felt like the game was playing like it was online versus, though, for me.
I agree. That's kind of where I was. Like, I went into DBG's Discord after I got out, and they were talking. They were like, well, you guys are playing on pro. I was like, really? You guys thought it was that bad? Like, the viewers thought we were playing on pro, I guess. I mean, I don't know. Cobra, what do you think?
I lost to the landlord. And I literally labbed for like 2 days. I wasn't taking it too seriously just because I didn't have time to get ready for it. So I was like,
he ran his zone.
And he ran his zone, and that's the one thing that I probably wasn't fucking ready for. So, but
I'll say his zone is good. His zone is good.
He's like the only person I know to run a zone and actually make it effective. And
it was a sweaty game. I lost by like 3 or something. But he made like probably 50% or more contested layups, and that really pissed me off.
So, taking
but-
that statement, we can go into gameplay now, and now we're gonna have fun. Now we're gonna have a lot of fun.
Start us
let's
off, Cobra.
Try to start with the goods.
Real quick though, I just want to say about the qualifiers. I will say we have the worst qualifying of any sports game across the board. Madden
Easily.
uses Battlefly, which isn't a one and done. You can lose because I still
play.
believe that you shouldn't lose. Like if you play the best person in the world and you're the second best person in the world, but you don't qualify just because you lost to the best person in the world, I think it's bad. But I think it's a bad program. I want to say like Battlefly, it matches you up against like people who have the same record as you for like a 4-hour spam. So there's like pros that go like 16-2, which like they're the best players. Like that's a good record.
Qualifiers are
And that's why they're in the tournament.
Yeah.
The best players get in their tournaments consistently because
I mean, to add to that fact, it's like Ty and Newman, they matched up. Ty didn't qualify, nor did Newman. Obviously, did Newman end up qualifying?
No, but
No.
Newman played like
But like
4 really good players.
that's what I'm saying. Like he knocked out like 2 or 3 of those guys, and they're all known to be the better players in the community as it is. So like none of them qualified. So like
so he would be 4-1 with a really high strength of schedule, which should matter to something rather than if you go 5-0 and you matched up against people who weren't as good.
yeah.
I don't see this changing though, unfortunately.
I
either.
don't think it changes either. But and then MLB uses the same thing. They both use Battlefly.
They literally
And,
both use Battlefly, and they're both
just
really
think-
good systems too.
I just think most like people would be happy with it.
That's the thing about Madden. I don't feel
And
like
you don't
see
have
very
to
many
worry about FBMM so much. Well, you do to a certain point because you're going up against the same records. But more people are playing at the end of the tournaments because you can play the whole 4 hours. You don't play for the last like hour of 250K. You already eliminated 80% of the people who started the qualifier.
Yeah.
So now
I
you're
would say it's a
worried
lot higher
about-
number than that, than 80.
Yeah.
Now that's
95.
why you're matching up against the top people consistently because there's only like 30 minutes left. There's only like 20 people left.
Yeah. I
Right?
mean, there's not that many people.
And so like if you had the other system, you might only have like 20 people that are like 16-2, but you might have 20-30 people who are like 15-5 that are still battling. They're still trying to they're still right there. They're on the cusp of breaking into that ranking rather than like, I don't know. It's just, it's a weird concept. People sitting in queue times for like 10 minutes because there's
I was
nobody
in one
playing.
for like 15 minutes.
I'll say this. Cobra made a good point where he said that Madden tournaments have the best players qualify.
Yeah.
They just do.
Yeah, they just do.
And I'm not going to say any names or be rude towards anybody, but the last 2 years we've had people in 250 who did not deserve to be in the tournament. We're not a top 16. We're not a top probably
The
30
best
player.
some of the best players aren't in the 250 tournament.
I mean, last
And
year
it's a
Jen
damn,
and
and
Isaac
it's a
didn't
damn
qualify.
shame.
The year before,
Damn
I mean, there's very good players that don't qualify every single year, and then there are players who qualify. There's going to be a couple on each console every year who get beat by 40 or 30 or 40 in the first round because they didn't really deserve to be there, and that's not intended to be disrespectful towards any of those people, but
it's just how it works.
It's just the way the system is right now,
Yeah.
and it's not their fault, and it's good for them. Congratulations if you qualify, but like we have those people a few of those people every year, and that would not be a thing if we had a better qualifier system.
Exactly. And I mean, you know, with the qualifying system the way it is too, you know, those people, for example, they may have had a really easy road too. You know, we don't know. I mean, it's totally random. They may have not had to match with literally anybody and just beat everybody by 20, 30, and they got the maximum amount of points they could. And, you know, toodles to them. But when they play somebody, you know, competitive level, it's like JC said, a 20, 30 point game, and it gets ugly really fast.
Yeah, and when you're sweating 4 games in a row, those games are taking way longer
Yeah.
than the guy who's playing 6 games, maybe only one comp player.
Yep.
You know, so they're not alone. They're getting less games in, plus having to sweat and like beat comp players.
Exactly.
Plus, you want another reason why, and Madden's not yet MLB is. But why there's few players is 2K is not cross-platform yet.
Yeah.
And so MLB, you also have every single platform in their tournaments.
Yes.
So you have next gen, current gen, everybody in the same exact game.
Xbox and PlayStation.
You have that player base. So we're split between 4 realms right now. We got Xbox, current gen, next gen, PlayStation. We got 4 different qualifiers happening at the exact same time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course there's going to be less people that you're matching up with. I mean, it's just...
He's not wrong at all.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have high hopes for them making the game cross-platform, and the fascination with hanging on to current gen is like... I played current gen last year because it was the better game. Plain and simple, I thought it was the better game. This year, they both...
There's no difference, is there?
Are not great, but they play the same. And like at some point, I feel like we have to start phasing out current gen and going towards next gen. I mean, if you want to make, I feel like it would have been totally fine for the games to be exactly like they are this year, and the 250K tournaments be on next gen. We have two 250K tournaments, or we have a $500,000 tournament. Whatever the case may be, make it on next gen exclusively.
Madden
did that last year.
Yeah, Madden didn't make their game cross-platform, but they made the comp players move to next gen.
And they did that last year, not even this year. Like they've been on next gen for 2 years now. Now we're still hanging on to current gen, and the next gen consoles have been out for over 2 years now. Yeah.
2K21 was the first next gen game, so like, I mean, we're in 2 years, almost 3 years deep into this now.
Yep. I'm gonna start calling it old ass gen.
Yeah, I've been trying to push that.
I already told someone they were playing on current gen that I was like, oh, you're still playing on your PlayStation 2. That's nice.
Well, I will say this: I don't have a problem with people playing on current gen. And honestly, especially with there still being a competitive tournament on current gen, go for it. They're encouraging you to do it.
Yeah.
But like, why is this a thing? Is my thing. We're too far out at this point for this type of.
Exactly.
And honestly, you're splitting like a developer standpoint. You're splitting time that you could be putting towards like making one
next
game
gen better, like
so much better, because you're having half your developers work on this and half them work on that.
I'm hoping next year current gen is just a copy paste of this year with updated content.
Agreed.
Next gen.
I didn't think they needed going back to like leading into gameplay and stuff. From 22 to 23, I feel like they didn't need to change a ton from 22, but they did it anyway. And like going into gameplay a little bit here, I know a lot of people that casually play the game didn't enjoy the quick stopping, the mad movement speed when dribbling the ball, the quick and shifty dribble styles, all that stuff. I know a lot of people didn't enjoy that from the casual standpoint. From the competitive standpoint, though, JC and Cobra, you can agree or disagree with me here. I feel like that separated players a little bit. Like, that was another skill gap that's just totally gone this year. Like,
there weren't very many people quick stopping.
Yeah, there wasn't.
Level until towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
And it was definitely a skill gap last year. The movement and the ability to create a...
I didn't know how to quick stop. And so,
like,
and I would say I'm pretty high level.
And I was... I was quick stopping. I wouldn't say there were several people quick stopping before me for sure, but I figured out the quick stop before a lot of people did, even towards the end of the year. And I felt like I got to the point offensively where I was one of the better offensive players, and I felt like it created a bit of a gap.
Until we got like the quicker jumpers, it was kind of hard to do it anyways. At that point in the year, everybody was shooting leaners. Like, everybody thought that was a good shot because of circus threes and everything else. But like this year, like it feels like there's no variety in offense at all in a competitive game. Like at all. There's 300's almost non-existent.
I will say 22 last year. You say like you said that they didn't need to change much. I quit 22. I hated that game.
Really?
That was the first 2K where I stopped playing.
I thought that game was fun for casual people. I don't know, maybe not. But the 3 things that I thought needed fixed were the contest system, mashing, and like there was one other thing I forgot now. But that was the main 3 problems I thought with that game. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But that was the main 3 things I found wrong with the game.
Yeah.
I just think this game rewards people who run around with their heads cut off.
Yeah, yeah.
Why is that a thing?
I think this game, the gameplay, and JC can probably go off on this, like the comp settings, it's a mess, right?
It's an absolute dumpster fire.
Run to the rim and hold the X button.
Like I don't know how many.
Don't forget the right trigger for turbo.
I don't know how many splash tweets I can see of like clips of him closing his eyes and just running at the hole and scoring that make me laugh my ass off. But the thing is like, I feel like at one point this game's close, right? Like I feel like there's a lot of aspects that like just take a little, like they just need to turn the knob on something just a little bit, like, and it's almost there.
Can we also talk about the back cuts in this game, please?
Well, off-ball pest isn't good enough. Clamp breaker is too strong.
Oh my gosh.
Mashing sucks. Heavies go in too much under the rim. Fouls are ridiculous.
Oh my god.
Movement speed is bad for guards. You can't create open space. Adrenaline boosts are too overpowered. Like it's tough to create space because your player is gassed after you do 2 dribble moves. The actual stamina bar also drains too fast when you try to create space to shoot the ball.
The different jump shot timings from the stamina getting drained.
The contest system is ridiculous. You get 47% contests from a dude on your side. Blinders doesn't work. Like the jump shot timings, like KG, there is so much wrong with the game. I understand. I don't know. You didn't like 22, and I guess that's fair, Cobra. I kind of did like 22 personally. I thought it had a lot more of a skill gap than this game, and for me, that is the perspective that I look at the game with when I'm playing it online, is I'm looking at it always from a competitive perspective. I had fun playing 22 as well. Quick stopping was fun. Even before 250 with guys like Cade, I thought the game was somewhat balanced. You could create shots with guys like Kobe. Even Diamond Kobe early in the year could create a shot.
Diamond Clay.
You couldn't create you can't create 3-point opportunities this game. You get threes off of the defense randomly deciding to collapse or an offensive rebound.
Or
that's what you're going to get the vast majority of your 3-pointers off of. Yeah, or an X switch doesn't work. Things like that. Like, there are so many flaws with this game that just support holding your Y button and then going up, or closing your eyes and running around in a circle and holding your X button.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if that is the most effective offense, and sure, there are nuances to it, and yes, defense is still a skill gap, which is why some of the best players are still going to be the best players. But there is less skill gap than there has ever been to offense.
I agree.
And it's not particularly close, I don't think.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, like, you see the competitive guys, we're all doing the almost exact same thing. There's no, oh, that guy's a really good 300. I mean, you can't do it. It's not good. It's not a good game to do it. And like, between, the game, the contest system being as bad as it is, the spiking in the game, like, the spiking in the game is a whole nother issue. I mean, the shooting, they just make it next to impossible to do. At a high level, anyways.
I like green or miss. That's a positive.
Yeah, that's a positive.
I do like green or miss.
We're all in agreement there.
But I will say that might be a reason why we have less players, is because I feel like less people are able to green consistently, especially if you're not able to play the game as much as we are. And so they hop on unlimited and get their ass kicked 2 games in a row, and they go and play a different game.
Yeah.
I just think greening.
But I do like it.
The different jump shot timings is the main problem with shooting and the contest system, and just creating 3-point shots in general. I don't think the actual shooting, when it comes to you getting a regular jump shot, is an issue at all. You can green lightlies. You can the green window is big. I don't think shooting is particularly hard. Even for a casual player, if you just practice your shooting a little bit, shooting an open shot is not hard in this game. Creating the open shot and hoping that you don't get a terrible catch or shoot the ball way too fast or way too slow, or get contested from the side or from far away for a ghost contest, which are way too common. Those are the things that are the problem with shooting, not the actual wide open shooting, in my opinion.
And I mean, another thing too, this kind of ties into the 250 thing again, but so like, if they made unlimited, whites go in, right? Let's just say they did, theoretically speaking. why couldn't they make, you know, the unlimited tournament on Superstar, Hoff, whatever the case is, a little higher difficulty and not make those whites go in?
I mean, it should be. I mean, point blank to the qualifiers should be on a higher difficulty.
Yeah, I mean, they should be. And that's what I felt like, you know, is missing between the two. If they had the difference, like, if it was on Hoff for the tournament and Unlimited was on that and whites were going in on Unlimited, fine. You know, it appeases to the casual guys and the guys who want to take it to the next level and qualify for 250 and all that stuff. They have to green the shots.
I don't totally hate the idea of having modes where whites go in. I don't really mind that. I would love green or miss to stay for competitive. And then for casuals, if you want to not have that as a thing, that's fine. I don't think shooting, it's just not, shooting isn't my issue with this game. It's all the other things that are bad. It's like, I don't know. I feel like,
say for
you can only do so
wise,
much.
For shooting wise, you know, on an Xbox, I don't know, like, is the delay on Xbox only? I'm Xbox, so I have dealt with the spikes. Does PlayStation not have that?
No, it's worse on PlayStation.
It's worse on PlayStation?
It's worse.
Yeah, it happens to more people on PlayStation.
Oh, shit. Okay. Well,
I don't spike much, but I have really good.
I will say, like,
I don't know if that helps.
I am worried about when we start getting dark matters with very quick shot animations, because I stopped using good players like Carmelo and certain people who shoot too damn quick, because you had different jump shots based on stamina.
Yes.
Based on contest, if they catch it off the dribble, or if they shoot off the dribble, if they do it off the pass. Tie that with delay, with spiking, with very quick shots, and you have to green.
Yeah.
That whole combination, good players are going to miss wide open shots.
You're going to have a lot of people on late shoot, because are you on early timing right now?
I think everybody's on early.
I'm on early. The vast majority of the community who plays the game at a serious level is on early right now.
Yep.
I guarantee
We'll switch.
that come March or April, the vast majority of the community will be switching to late, and there may even be some on very late.
Yeah,
so that you can deal with the load ups better, you can deal with the jump shot speeds better. Because I would say right now, Carmelo is the only card in the game that truly has that type of release that is so incredibly fast that there is nothing you can do when you get a different catch. But we're going to get a lot more of those releases as the year progresses.
Exactly. We're gonna start getting dark matters with very quick.
So
even quick. I mean, isn't Carmelo just quick?
Yes.
This is on normal, I thought, wasn't it?
No, it's on quick.
It is? Okay.
No, it's quick. But imagine, like, very quick. Like,
but like we also have a lot of releases, like, I mean, Tatum and Scottie Pippen, and I mean, even that dude John Wall has a really fast release. There's some guys with really fast, really good releases
Ron Artest
that don't have that issue. I don't think you really have that issue with those types of guys. Carmelo's the only card in the game to this point that has that issue, in my opinion, consistently.
Is Scottie quick? On quick?
No, it's on normal. But Scotty's it's a solidly quick release, but it's not on main.
Fast, but you see his body go, and you have time to figure it. Like, you have time. Like, I can green with Scotty no matter what, unless I spike, like, right when he shoots. But, like, Carmelo, you literally have to guess. You almost have to guess. You're shooting, and
I think
you have to hope. You have to hope that you don't delay.
Another thing too is, like, Mike Wang, he came out and said, like, with the early, the late, and all that stuff, he came out and answered. He was like, we didn't have time to add normal. Like, that to me is very alarming. Like, why don't they have time to add the normal shot timing? Like,
well, there was more to it than that.
Well, yeah, but
late was their normal. They only had 4 set up.
But like, why can't we call it normal? You know, like,
I don't put too much issue to that. It's not
right. They'll probably change it next year. But the thing is, you know, you're splitting the game once again. If they didn't have time for anything, you're splitting the game into 4
That's what I'm saying. Like, that was the more alarming part, is not having time. Like, how do you not have time and then you put the game out anyways and just, here you go. I don't
understand why they just didn't, like, after having that whole discussion, why he said, like, late was going to be normal. They could have just changed that in, like, one of the first patches of the game.
Literally.
I
expect
that next year there's going to be a lot of changes with shooting.
Yeah.
I will say that. I think there's going to be a lot of changes with shooting next year. I think this shot timing thing just will not be a thing after this year with all the different shot releases. Like, I think the shot timing speed, the early, very early, late, very late, whatever, I think that'll remain a part of the game, and I wouldn't be totally stunned if green or miss kind of stays. Probably not to this extent, but I think it will be harder than it's been the last couple of years to hit white still. I expect that the changing shot timings with everything will be tweaked. Because fatigue shooting was a thing last year too. But you
It
didn't
was.
have people complaining constantly about fatigue shooting. Fatigue shooting happened when you dribbled for 15 seconds with a card, they were tired, and they got a slow release. Now you
Now
get
it's-
fatigue shooting because a player is wide open catching the ball in the corner, and they've been on the court for a quarter and a half, and they get fatigue shooting for no reason.
Or you
They've just been
dribble for 2
standing there.
seconds.
Yeah.
You do 2 moves and you're done.
I think we'll see tweaks with that next year. I hope we see tweaks with that next year because
Yeah.
I think the different shot timings is one of the bigger issues right now.
I think they changed a lot in 1 year. Like they added so much to that part of the game that I think next year I'd be curious to see after getting feedback and stuff. At least I'm hopeful because
Wish they had more people playtest the game. I'll say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Outside of like the next maker event, I wish they actually they could have.
the next maker, I mean, that wasn't even playtest. That was
Right.
the game was already made. You know?
Yeah, I know exactly. Like I think they could bring a few content creators and competitive players from each side. Park, my team. You bring a couple people who play competitively and a couple people who make content in the game and aren't competitive players from each side, and have them playtest the game
Yeah.
and
I mean-
get their feedback. Do that in April, like do it
Guys
before
like-
the game is out.
Guys like Ty, yourself, Splash,
Yep.
Nike,
Sign it,
any
have
of
them
these
sign
guys.
NDA forms and
Yeah,
fly 'em
exactly.
out there and
If they make so much money, they can afford that type
Oh.
of thing easily. Like, I mean, the fact we don't have 250K in person is kind of frustrating to me.
That's
I
another
mean,
thing.
2 years ago we had 3 or 4 people playing on different accounts, playing 4 people in 250K. In the only big tournament of the year, we have like
Zens.
4 different accounts. People,
Yeah.
There weren't Zens in the tournament, I don't think.
Not in a
Yeah.
tournament, but
Oh,
they
but in the
probably could have
qualifiers.
been.
Oh, in the qualifiers.
Qualifiers, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I played against. What was his name? My brain's. It's not working. I don't know. But I played against a guy who qualified with a Zen last year, or in 2K21, I should say. He had a Zen, and then he figured out I was streaming, and then he took off the Zen, and wound up losing the game after taking the Zen off. Still qualified because he had such a giant lead.
I streamed all my qualifiers. I lost to a Zen 3 out of the 4 and 21.
Yeah, Cole lost to a Zen in qualifiers last year, I think, or not last year in 2K21. It was Skip. Yeah, no, it was Skip to my loot. Rest in peace. But that's who it was. He was Zenning me, and then he realized I was on stream and took the Zen out and lost, and still qualified, even though he lost to me in the game because he had such a giant points lead from the Zen. So
Yeah. So moving on to the next topic. This one's going to be more so the casual stuff. Do you feel like the game is accessible for new guys now? If they started today, how accessible is it for them to get, say, a decent team today?
how much money are they spending?
It's the question. You have to spend money.
You know, I mean, like, that's the question. 0, 50, 100?
No, you're no money spent
Do
downloading
they
the
have to be
game?
0? Do they have to be
You
100?
spend $50 on packs? No.
If you're
You
lucky.
spend $100 on packs, maybe you can build a
Maybe.
somewhat decent team.
Maybe.
Now, if you spend $50 on MT, you can get yourself a really good starter squad.
Yeah. We do
that
not
would
promote
ever
MT
buying
here.
because we don't do that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like,
I'll say no. Not
if
really.
you're
I
no
don't
money
think-
spent, no. If
I
you
don't think
money
so.
spent, yes.
in the last
Depending on how you
2Ks,
spend the money.
in the last 2Ks, if people who are like new players, especially around Thanksgiving and Christmas time, like a lot of people get the game for Christmas, right? Like people
Yeah.
would hop in your stream and be like, "Hey, I just got the game. What should I, what do you think I should grind first?" And it used to be like domination. You can get decent tokens, you can get decent coins. You don't really get any coins this year because everything's built around trophy case players. By Christmas time, you're
That'll
gonna
change,
it-
though.
Maybe.
Probably, unless they drop a
hopefully it
second
will.
trophy case, it will
If they
change.
do a second trophy case, I might cry. Like,
But like tokens don't really reward no money spent players because the best cards are like what, Amethyst, and those
Yeah.
are like
They're not that good besides
Eh?
Giannis.
No,
and
they're
even
not
Giannis
good
is
at
not
all.
good
so
anymore. They're all
tokens really
outdated.
don't help no money spent players. So really, and the domination cards themselves, the diamonds,
they're not going to be relevant
aren't
by
good.
that point.
I mean, the one thing I will say, yesterday was a good step again. Budget players are so important for people starting off the game to be able to build a team that they can go build a 5-man team that they can go compete in clutch time online or triple threat online and start doing well in those types of modes for a 50,000 MT is really important. And
Right,
yesterday was a good step in that direction. If we continue to step in that direction, it will become more accessible to new players who don't want to spend money on the game if we start getting those players that allow you to build the core of your team.
Yeah.
I would say Tuesday diamonds are easy to get. Anybody can get those.
Oh yeah.
Another thing is,
But not that many of them are that good.
the Tuesday one's not very many,
Right.
which I wish they were. And then level 40 seems like it's way easier to get as well. Like if someone just got the game today, I'd still say you can easily get Devin Booker
Easily.
which is a really good pink diamond for no money spent players.
And you get a chunk of MT and stuff from there as well. Like you're going to get a decent bit of rewards.
I would say yes and no. Like, are you gonna have the best lineup? No.
Once
if
again,
if you play a God Squad, like, will you lose? Probably.
Yeah. I mean, once again, would go into the XP thing too. They put these trophy cases in the XP reward path. Like, if you're starting today, that does nothing for you. Like, next to nothing. Because you're so far behind as it is already. Without centerpieces, without all these other things. And even the trophy cases, you get on the game today, I still get questions. How do I get a centerpiece? Like, there's only one place you can actually see them, and it's unlimited and triple threat offline. Like, most people won't know Clutch Time Online has a centerpiece at the end of it unless they go on YouTube and find it somehow.
Or Clutch Time offline too. Yeah.
The one thing I will say though is I don't think we should be sitting here and talking about how, like, I want the game to be accessible to a no money spent player who doesn't play the game a ridiculous amount. I want them to be able to build a capable team and have fun playing the game, even online. That being said, I don't think we should go to the point where everybody can have the best team in the game playing the game an hour or two of the game a day without spending money.
I think people should
I think
have.
there are some people have expectations that are too high.
No, I don't think they should have every pink diamond.
Yeah,
But I do think they should be able to have like all the takeover players that are grindable. But the Friday takeover players,
the Friday grinds are too hard.
The Friday grinds are too long. Literally take the Friday grinds and divide it by 2.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah, that's
Problem fixed. Half of them in 2.
Come
Or
on,
make it 2 weeks.
That's still a big amount of time.
just make it 20 clutch offline, 20 triple threat offline, 10 triple threat online, 10 clutch online, and 5 unlimited.
Yeah.
They could do that, and that is, I mean, that's half-ish. It's a little bit less on the online and a little bit more on the offline.
You gotta realize
but it's
those
about
challenges. Those challenges are also win those games.
Yes.
And that's not a problem. And that's not a problem for like us and like most of the people who play the game a lot, because we tend to be good just because we're playing the game a lot. But most people, 15 unlimited games to win, that takes a long time.
10 hours.
Yeah, most people are playing maybe 25 to 30 games to win that 15 games. Me, I'm playing maybe like 19 or 20. And maybe not even that, but like people are playing like 30 games to win 15. That takes days, especially. Especially, and then you got the other ones. I mean, there's people who just don't even look at the Friday agenda.
I mean, there's no point to looking at the Friday agenda for the most vast. I mean, I will not. I've done 2 Friday agendas this year. I did Iggy and I did Sean Kemp. I will not be doing another one unless the card is truly exceptional, because I just don't have time. And this is like my job, but I'm also a full-time college student, and I have a lot of other things going on in my life and things that I'm doing. I don't have the time to spend 20 hours a week doing intentionally just these agendas, because people are busy. Like, I don't know. I think
even that, and like,
and I play the game a lot more than the vast majority of people, obviously.
I mean, I think we all 3 do. We all can say that. I mean, it's like these trophy grinds and stuff, you're having to grind every single mode. That's another thing I do not like at all about it, is like, I have to go play triple threat. I have to go play triple threat offline. I have to go play all these different modes. And I absolutely, it makes the game not fun for me. Like, I hate having to do that. Like, why can't we just make it, 700, 800, 900 games, call it a day? Like, say that much and you get 5 centerpieces, reward every 200 games, at that point.
That's 200 is too high of a number.
I mean, it is, but like, just in theory, like, make it X amount of games and make it every mode rather than just this mode, this mode, this mode, and every mode. Because honestly, that is like,
Well,
I won't lie. I paid somebody to do my clutch offline because I didn't want to play it.
I don't totally mind long grinds for the best cards in the game. It's just about having accessible grinds for the people who don't have time to do those long grinds for the best cards in the game.
Yeah.
Like making the like what Cobra's saying, making the takeover players accessible.
It'll shorten it a little bit.
Yes.
I mean, like the normal person can't. I hate saying the word can't, but normal people cannot complete Friday grinds.
Right.
And
Somebody who has a full-time job could have they might have 2 or 3 trophy case players this year so far. If you're play the game a normal amount, you could easily have 2, maybe 3 of these players, and maybe you went for Derrick Rose because everybody was hyping him up at the beginning, and then you went for James Worthy or Arvydas Sabonis or something like that, and you have a couple players there who are viable players. Like, that is reasonable. I don't totally hate the trophy case grind. Like, I think it's fine. I just think the key is having other things that are accessible to players who don't have the time to complete these things.
Yeah.
Because I have Jimmy. I'm going to have Anthony Davis this season. I'm going to have Jimmy or Dr. J next season. Like, I am playing the game a ton. All 3 of us are playing the game a lot. But most people don't have that type of time. So making the Friday grinds accessible, making the Tuesday grinds accessible, making those cards solid. They don't have to be the best cards in the game, but making them top 5 to 7 players their position where they're somewhat viable options. That's not that hard to do.
No.
And we need more of that.
Agreed. Agreed.
I like having always something to grind, but when it's time sensitive things and you can say the word can't, like for the Friday takeover players, there's a lot of people who just can't, right?
And I mean,
right,
and they're timed.
Adding to that point too, the always having something to grind. That's something in 22 we complained about, and I think they heard that and they did it this year, having something to grind. But it's almost like, if you're coming into the game, it's like you look at this and you look at the takeover players, you look at the domination, you look at the trophies, and you're just like, oh my gosh, where do I even start? Like,
well, again, it's not a bad thing. The trophy case is not a bad thing.
I wouldn't say that's a bad thing. The whole centerpieces, because you have 30 days, right?
Yeah.
That's a long time. But the Friday takeover players, if you're working a full-time job, you're maybe playing an hour or like an hour to maybe 4 hours during the week, if you have a family or if you have any type of social life, and then you maybe playing a little bit more on the weekends. That's simply not enough. That's not enough. You're never going to get those Friday takeover players, ever.
No.
And
yeah,
I don't like that. I don't like that. The centerpieces, I think you can. Like, if you had a day off and you played a lot of hours, like you could grind the centerpieces. I think a whole season is enough time to get the centerpieces if you're good at. I mean, if you're good enough to get them. Like, if you can win 100 clutch time on online games, like. But that's the thing. Like, I don't want gimmies. I don't want everybody just to get, like. I don't want it to be easy, right? I don't want to be done with this in 2 weeks and then we complain that the last 3 weeks of the season we're like, well, we gotta wait till Friday because that's the only day we get content.
Yep.
And that's why having these long grinds are good. It's just we don't have the short accessible grinds for most people. Like, you can, like he said, you can get a trophy case player or 2 a season not playing the game a ton because you can get a centerpiece from co-op and you can get a
Unlimited.
Yeah, exactly. Limited. You get a lot of the RNG pieces as well, and they're dropping a lot of ways to get a lot of these pieces. You can get 1 or 2 centerpieces a season pretty reasonably, even if you don't play the game full time. You're not going to get the opals, but you'll get Derrick Rose, James Worthy, Russell Westbrook, Kevin McHale, Arvydas Sabonis, whatever. A few of those cards. You can get a few players that are legitimately good for your lineup.
Yeah, and you'll get a lineup that you can play unlimited with.
Right. And then you couple those guys with Scottie Pippen, who didn't take that long to grind. You can work towards him while you're getting a trophy case player. The takeover players, if we had more of those that were actually accessible, like he says, the Friday grinds, even the Tuesday grinds, being pretty good cards and not taking more than an hour or 2 to get, all of a sudden you're looking at a game that is much more accessible towards the casual player just starting the mode.
Say like the Tuesday takeover players, everybody can get those because you can literally get those in like 2 hours, right?
Well,
you have a whole week.
But most of them, yes.
Well,
I guess recently they have been. The first couple were a little.
Most of the challenges are like based around like agenda items that like the player did.
Right.
I think the Friday takeover players, like the way they're doing it is to make people also grind towards the trophy players, and like they're forcing people to play the modes. It's just a little too much of the modes. But if they switch the Friday trophy agendas to like what the Tuesday agendas are, and you could get them in like 1 to 2 days too, I wouldn't be against that either, because that would also lessen the grind. Now, granted, would maybe less people play the different modes per se? Maybe. Would that be a bad thing? Because more people are
I don't
playing
think that's
the
a bad
game?
thing.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't think it's
a bad thing if people just want to play the modes they want to play.
Exactly.
If you enjoy playing Triple Threat offline or Clutch Time offline, go play that. If you enjoy playing Unlimited, go play that. Those games modes should be accessible to people to play, and they're not forced to play a specific game mode. I don't think. Right.
And I feel like that's what they're doing right now. You know.
And the key is making things like the takeover cards and other grinds accessible to people if you're gonna have big grinds like the trophy case as well.
Yeah,
that's the key, is making other grinds that are accessible to people that maybe aren't quite as rewarding as the trophy case.
Yep.
But they're still somewhat rewarding, and they give people the ability to compete. Exactly. No, they don't have to be as they shouldn't be. It shouldn't be as rewarding as somebody who plays the game an absolute ton and is a grinder. There's no reason. I'm totally cool with the Opal Jimmy Butler, Opal Clyde Drexler, Opal Anthony Davis, some of these top trophy case pink diamonds still being some of the best cards in the game. I think that's a good thing for the game. It is that we're rewarding those top grinders. We just have to reward people who don't have the time to do that as well, and make the game accessible to them as well, so they can have they can at least compete.
Yeah, I mean, that's all we're asking for, is at least compete, you know. And I think, you know, we're getting towards the end here, I'd say, of this discussion, but if there's anything you guys want to add here, gameplay wise, content wise, you know, overall, what is you guys' experience so far with this game? Like, how are you guys feeling so far, I guess, is the best way to put that.
You go ahead, JC.
I don't enjoy playing this game competitively. I mean, I think I made that pretty clear. I just don't. I mean, I've played one tournament since the qualifiers, and I haven't played a single scrim or wager since the qualifiers. And I'm the type of person who generally would be scrimming every day, would be playing in almost in like most tournaments. Like I want to be one of the best couple players in the world. I want to win the tournament. Like, I take it very seriously, and I haven't been recently because I just enjoy playing the game so little competitively. The content is good, and I think it's getting better. I think they're doing a better job with the content. I think that's good, and I think that appeals to the casual player and to even they're a casual skill level player, but they're not a casual player in terms of the fact that they're very in tune with the community, because we have a lot of people like that as well. And I think that appeals to those two groups of people. For me, I don't enjoy it, but that's because I cannot stand the gameplay and I want to be the best player in the world. So I think I'm in a small niche of person, and in all honesty, in that type of feeling, but that's the way I feel about the game. Yeah, I mean, that's my take, to be honest.
Yeah. Cobra?
Yeah, I can't really speak on the high level comp side of things, because I don't play tournaments. If I did, I'd probably get very, very frustrated. So I understand where JC's coming from on that one. I think content wise, it's on the up and up. It's trending upwards since the last couple of 2Ks. You know, they're implementing new things to the content, like the trophy case players. It's a whole new thing. It's a whole new concept. So I like that. You know, it's not just the same 2K where we get promos every Tuesday and Friday, and there's nothing else, right? There's nothing new. Like the last 2K, a couple 2Ks, that's what it was. It was literally Tuesdays, Fridays, Snorefester, and the weekend.
For the first few months.
And there's nothing. So the trophy case player, I feel like, it's something new. I do like the premise of that. But what I will say is I wish 2K had a community, what's the word? Community manager. I wish 2K had a community manager on Twitter that talked to people, that let people know what's coming, what's being worked on. You know, I came from the Madden community, so I mean, they used to have
like
Kralo. Yeah, they used to have Kralo, who literally had Good Morning Madden. He literally streamed every single day talking about the goods and the bads, and literally was
the content drops.
So we need what Sam does, except more.
They did drops on Twitch, which 2K has never done. I don't know why they don't do that.
That's very true.
They give streamers.
Don't they give away stuff on Madden too? during that
Yeah,
stream.
they do
give away
giveaways
cards.
on their Good Morning Madden every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I wish there was someone like I would do it. Fuck it. Like.
Yeah, exactly.
Like someone in the community.
They should hire somebody who is
No,
at his
that's what I'm
full-time
saying. They need to
job.
hire
Yes.
someone at a 2K that should be upfront talking about the good and the bad, because we have no level of communication. Like we like, yes, the developers follow us on Twitters. Yeah, yes, like we have.
Them.
Yeah, some of them. Some of them care enough to.
Do they see our content that we're putting out? Do they see the conversations that people have? Do they see the replies to their tweets? Probably. I
think Sam does his best. I think Sam's a good person.
Yeah, Sam's good.
He needs either a bigger role and more ability to speak, or just to be more informed. One of the two. Like we need more communication with a guy like Sam, because Sam's a good guy. He knows what he's talking about.
Yes.
And he's the type of person we need to be more featured and more informed and be a bigger part of the community, because having those people who work with 2K and also communicate with us is really important.
I mean, MLB The Show, I keep going back there because I'm in tune with them too. But like, they just hired 2 content creators on their team.
Yep,
they literally just hired 2 of them.
Someone else. Yep.
To like literally become a part of their team and be that middle person between the community and the company to fix these issues. And that, to me, speaks volumes a lot. That would be something amazing if 2K could do that.
Oh, yeah. And Sam does a great job.
I agree.
People also have to remember that that's not Sam's job at 2K.
No, it's not. Right.
Yeah, he is doing that out of like just the kindness and being a great person and a great help to everybody. Yeah. Right. Like his job is not anything to do with the community at all.
No. He's he's helpful. He's very helpful. We haven't had what was Two Bros' role? Obviously that whole situation.
I don't remember.
I don't even know.
He had a role with the community of some sort that was never really replaced at all, it seems like. And we need that type of person, because I mean, Sam does his best, but that's like Cobra's saying, that's not his job.
Yeah,
it's just not. Like,
but if we did have someone
for that position,
yes, if we had a full-time person, then we could say, okay, what's going on with this? You know, like, I don't know. It's I think it would be beneficial. There's so many different things to do that they could do. Like, we see them have a logo show every 2 weeks, which is great. But that's every 2 weeks, and then they disappear.
Creators also.
The logos
for an hour.
That's another thing too. I don't even know half the people that get logos.
Like, no, like there's no like, I don't know, but there's no like, you don't even know if you're like good enough or what the reason is or whatever. That's a different topic.
Yeah, that's a topic for another day.
But the thing I'm saying is, like, they hop on a stream every 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks, and then we don't see him. We don't hear from him. We have no idea. We say, like, I feel like they should just be more in tuned. Like, we should be able to get feedback.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, overall, one last closing thought. Where does this 2K rank as far as the 2Ks, in the past? I know we talked about it a little bit before we came on here, but as far as 2Ks go, overall, I know it's hard to do that, but like, obviously, in my opinion, competitive, it's at an all-time low. I don't know. I don't know if this game's any better than 2K18. I don't know. I played KOK in 18. I've been around that long, unfortunately. I haven't played competitively a lot, but I did play KOK. I did play all these things back in 18. I played Pro-Am in 18, and I feel like 18, at least, I could have fun somewhat on the game. This game, I feel like I really just can't. There's just a lot of stuff that goes on in the game that just makes me want to, throw something, for lack of a better word. But I don't think this is a very good 2K, personally. I think it's right there with 18, in my opinion.
You can go ahead, JC. I know you probably have more of a ranking than me.
The gameplay stinks. The thing is, I didn't play 2K until the very end of 2K19, and then I didn't play it seriously whatsoever until COVID. But it's the worst I've played, for sure. I'll say that. I think 21 Current Gen was the best 2K that they've made since I started playing it, especially competitively. It had a skill gap. I know the speed glitch was dumb, but it had a skill gap. You could do multiple different things. It had skill, and it had skill gap on both ends of the court as well, which was important. But this is the worst in my opinion, for sure. At least competitive.
Across the board, content, gameplay, comp,
across the board. It's better content-wise than 19, to be honest. It's better content-wise than 19. It's probably better content-wise than 21 as well. That being said, I would still take 21 over it because I had a lot more fun playing the game 21, and I would take 22 over it. And the only reason 20 was an awful game, but it was fun to play, and the community was absolutely so alive and thriving because of the whole COVID, and everybody played the game a ton, and just the pandemic brought people together, and it brought the community together. And I think
21 was a different vibe for sure.
Yeah, it was. And like, I think like the game in 20, I really do think it was absolutely horrendous, like close to as bad of a game as this one is, but it was fun to play, and the community was thriving, so nobody cared as much. Now we're at the point where that's not really the case, and this game just isn't very fun to play because running around in a circle and going up blindly is not particularly fun to play. 20 was speed glitching, hop stepping, contact dunking on people. The game was obviously very buggy and weird, but it was more fun to play. And players moved super fast. You had Goat Kareem shooting from half court.
21 next gen
moving
was
super fast.
So weird.
I didn't really like 21 next gen because I didn't.
What was the first one with next gen? Was it 21?
21.
It was 21. 21 had like Bowl and
I like next
all
gen
those
on
cards
21. That was my favorite gameplay because 21 wasn't 21 where current gen was speed glitching.
Yeah.
Or was yeah. So like 21, like I couldn't watch current gen on 21 because it was like I was having an episode because I saw people like skating across the court like zigzag, zigzag, zigzag. It was nuts.
Yeah.
But next gen I enjoyed it. I don't know if it was like the best.
Sorry about my laundry.
Next gen was the game with shooting 70s from half court with sharp take, right?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Hall of Fame range was broken. There, I will say, like certain things were very not good, and like certain cards were just broken. Like very quick release. Like there were cards with very quick release that had Hoff limitless, and like you could shoot from anywhere at any moment's notice. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But content-wise, I think this is one of the best.
I agree. Content-wise, I think, and I think they're going to continue to improve. To be honest,
and I think if they wanted to make it the best, they would add more than 2 days a week.
Yeah, I agree.
And
if they added 2 more days, Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, or maybe Monday, Tuesdays, Fridays, Saturdays for people who can. The most people can play on the weekends. Drop something on Saturdays. Best 2K for content. Period.
I agree. You make the grinds, like the takeover grinds, a little more accessible to no money spent player, and you add a few more budget cards in promos.
Agreed.
You do that, and you drop content a little bit more spread out throughout the week. Maybe moments promo like we talked about earlier. If you do that, it is probably the best content 2K we've ever had. I agree with
that. That's why I say it's on the up and up, because if they hear our feedback, if they make those very simple changes,
they're not
very doable. They make them the change for next year. It will be the best content 2K next year if they make those changes.
And please fly us out for next year. It doesn't have to be us, but fly a few people out who know what they're talking about with the game on the competitive side and on the casual content side, and have them play test the game for a couple days.
Yep.
Like
instead of making it 1 day too. I think they only played like 1 day. Or 2.
That wasn't a playtest. Like Cobra said, that wasn't a playtest. The game was done.
It was pretty much a demo. They got to play the Jordan challenges. Like that's literally what it was.
Yeah.
They're playing each other in play now. Like,
no,
that does nothing.
And no offense to next makers, and I love some of them, but they aren't the best players in the game.
Well, there are a few that are decent.
There are a few that are decent.
Yes, right.
They're good, but you didn't see Splash, Ty, high level. I'm talking high.
There were some high level pro-am players there. Like Bear was there.
That's fair. That's true.
Yeah, Bear was there. Wolf was there.
Okay, well, I guess I take back what I said, because I didn't know who.
So fly out 2 of those guys, and then 2 of the content creators from the pro side, and then fly out 2 elite top level competitive players, and 2 of the top, an HTB and a somebody else who's a big time content creator to play test the game. 2 comp players, 2 competitive, 2 content creators on each side.
You have the game, then you have your next makers event, and they can do their whole thing because that's that's what they got their partnership, whatever. But
yeah.
Well, if the gameplay was halfway decent, this game would be really good.
Yeah,
especially since the content seems to be improving. Yeah. If the gameplay was halfway decent, this game would be in a really good spot. But the gameplay is it's not halfway decent.
I agree.
It's bad, and it's just, I don't know. It's hard for a game to thrive when people don't actually enjoy going online and playing the game.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. The content can be as good as it is. It's going to be very hard for a game to thrive if you don't want to load up the game and play it.
Agreed.
I don't know.
Well, I think this was a good first episode. I do appreciate you guys coming on, hanging out. It went a little longer than we thought it would, but hey, we were talking. It was good talk. Like I said, I appreciate you guys both coming on. If there's anything else you guys want to add, I'm sure there's so much more we can talk about. But we're going to cut it off here. If you guys enjoyed the video, please make sure you guys like and subscribe, and I'm out. Peace.